Dead Game Society presents BattleTech Urbiepocalypse. Yeah, so we're going to be playing a game of BattleTech today. It's not a dead game. In fact, I'm really glad that BattleTech is alive and well. We're going to be playing a game on this double-wide map that it's not really a custom map. I just took the normal battle map and what do you know? I put two parts together on a board. We're going to have a very interesting scenario. We have a custom mech from an old design campaign we did. This is called the King Puma. The model is the concussion from Reaper Miniatures. This is the metal version. Do you want to describe the King Puma and what it does?
Sure. So according to the lore that I had made for the King Puma, it is the result of multiple years of me and Alex and you going back and forth and discussing what sort of horrible ways we can kill each other in a game of BattleTech. And this, to me, I felt like was the best that I could come up with.
Refined custom like all hell.
Yeah, it is refined custom to all hell using every rule that I could possibly scrounge up that is actually relevant. So basically, it is a walking ton of, I don't know, like, what would be the best thing for me to describe? It's basically a walking slab of reinforced uranium.
Go to town. Explain all the rules it uses.
So first thing I'll start is that it has maximum armor that it can possibly have. It has
How many tons?
All of it. So the tonnage.
Is it a 100-ton mech?
It is in fact a 100-ton mech, and I'm not making it a 200-ton mech. Otherwise, I would have, because 200-ton mechs can't mount hardened armor, which is the first exact thing I'm going to talk about. It has full maximum hardened armor. It also has full maximum reinforced internal structure.
Now, reinforced internal structure, what was the rule for that again?
Okay, so the rulings on that, like in simplicity, reinforced internal structure and hardened armor do exactly the same thing, and that is that it effectively doubles how much you can take.
Oh boy, both for internal structure and for the armor structure.
And the internal structure makes it harder to crit as well.
Keep going.
All right, cool. So it is a targeting computer, an engine supercharger, because this thing as slow as tar.
Yeah.
It moves 2-2 and needs the engine supercharger to run an additional 1 hex.
For 2-3.
Yeah, for a 2-3. It has 2 improved heavy medium lasers, which are the really late clan variant. 2 ER micro lasers, which are, they're in the right torso right below it.
Okay.
They have 2 ER PPC clan variant that are in the arms, as you can see. The racks up on the shoulders are actually anti-missile system.
Oh, cool.
It has a radical heatsink system, which is... which is also something that's in it's in a special rule book that was for the the Blakish Jihad, and it basically makes your heat sinks triple heat sinks, but you have to use them every turn, and they have a chance of breaking.
Ha!
So don't use those every turn. And it also is mounting Blue Shield Project, which it basically is. It works for 6 turns, and then after that, it has a chance of breaking as it accumulates like bits of particles and dust. It reduces the effectiveness of particle weapons.
Oh boy. This thing is extremely defensive, and against most people who like to use energy-heavy weapons, this is it's an insane depth of custom design that you just don't go into unless you are doing something with friends, which don't mind going completely psycho on the modification rules.
The thing has a ridiculous amount. The thing has been just it's insane. I've had to in order to make all this shit fit, I've had to use an XL fusion engine. One of the variants had a double XL engine, but that made its cost go into like the stratosphere, so I chose not to do that. It has a reinforced torso mounted cockpit. So that's the torso mounted part. You're not going to kill this thing by critting the pilot. It's not going to happen.
Sweet.
I've had that happen too many times, and that's why I do that.
Pilot crits.
It has a compact gyro, which I'm pretty sure the compact gyro gets damaged easier.
Oh yes, 2 instead of 3.
Yeah, but of course, you have to get through all the armor before that happens. So I have other things to worry about. Yeah. The pilot in this scenario is a 2-2, but it's being modified to a 2-3 because of the hardened armor.
Yeah, that reduces the piloting skill for some reason.
Yes, it makes it harder to maneuver. It makes it harder to maneuver the mech because you're literally piloting a slab of used uranium.
Yeah.
So
I was not unaware that hardened armor did the thing with reducing the piloting skill, but oh well, what can you wrong with it? But yeah, this mech is to the nines. It's just a very deadly mother, and there's no other way around it. We're also going to do, for this scenario only, we're going to do some special rules, but I'll get to that in a second. Let me show you what's on the other end of the map, because this is where the real pain comes in. We call this the Urbiepocalypse. You see before you 21 UrbanMechs. Let's put it this way. These UrbanMechs aren't the actual official miniatures. I tried to resin cast these and they fucked up. So we're going to be destroying some UrbanMechs. They are worthy of destruction and they're going to be going into it. The first 6 are canon variant R60s mounting an AC-10. The next 6 are R60Ls mounting an AC-20. And a little bit less armor and other weaponry. I have over here, yeah, I'm a bad guy. That's 4 of the R70s that mount the rotary autocannon 5. Since I have 4 of them on the board, I don't really care if those things jam or not. But still, that is 1 Urbie with an Arrow 4 system mounted, and 3 more that mount plasma rifles. As far as things are going, it's a pretty nasty lineup, because if you look at the C-bill cost of this, it's a little bit in excess of 1 King Puma over there. It's also way out of battle value. But then again, we're thinking it's going to be the Urbiepocalypse. This poor guy is going to be covered in Urbies. The special rules are going to go as follows. We're going to roll, these pilots are all 4-5 normals. We're rolling 2d6 as normal in BattleTech, and we will be, doing our thing over here. The King Puma is going to get a special rule. That's going to be his ace pilot, the best guy in his nation. And he's going to be rolling 2d8 in combat against my guys. In case you're wondering, yes, it's going to mean he can roll 12 or higher very easily. It's going to still count as a 12, but still. You know what? There is that thing with impossible shots where you can, if you goes past 12, you can't pull off an impossible shot. Do you want to scratch that and just go with numbers? You want to keep with the impossible shots?
I think I'm okay with impossible shots. That means you need to get in. That means
you're pretty much with those dice. You're going to be like critting much faster than usual. So these Urbies are not exactly walking into something where they're just going to swarm him and destroy him immediately. This guy is extremely good at his job.
You might knock him over a few times.
Oh yeah. Anyway, this is going to be a very strange scenario, because it's just going to be all the Urbies in the world versus this guy. Here is our deployment. Yeah, it looks as this is about what you can expect. We have here the line of 21 UrbanMechs versus the single King Puma. Got news for you guys. It looks like a very boring deployment. It's a pretty open map for a good reason. Otherwise, those Urbies are going to swarm him and reduce him the pace at extremely close ranges. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to start the roll off. He rolled a dice to see if you wanted to fight long ways or short ways. He rolled a 2, right? It was a 2?
Yep.
Yeah, it's going to be, that's why we got this kind of map. It's a short roll. First turn of deployment, nothing much. First turn of combat, nothing much, because UrbanMechs kind of just waddled forward slowly. King Puma decided to sit still and open fire. As far as UrbanMechs are concerned, we had the first turn of initiative. Those D8s just weren't working for him today. But still, we have two mechs that had AC-10s attempt to get long-range shot. One of them actually, because of the negatives involved, but rolled well enough, actually got the hit in and hit the target. So the King Puma took 5 points of damage from that.
Well, the King Puma shot twice, trying to be a badass, and thought he was going to aim for a specific location using his target computer at center torso, and as it turns out, that was a poor decision.
Yeah, it's like you rolled like a 5 and a 6 when you needed a 7?
Yep, both of those would have hit if I had not chosen to be a badass. So, he is now thinking, that's a lot of UrbanMechs.
Yeah. Aggregate damage may be the rule of the day. Turn 2 shows more waddling UrbanMechs. Let me just say it, they don't quite have the range yet. A few of them have AC-10s they brought to bear. None actually hit. One rolled an 8 when a 9 was required. Hilarious, right? And let's put it this way, we're UrbanMechs moving slowly up to engage a target. I mean, this is, the Urbiepocalypse. We've got we could have probably did this in urban terrain if we wanted to really swamp an opponent, but hey, this is what we have here. We're going to do it. Honestly, the Urbies are biding their time. It's going to be a matter of time until they can just get close enough and just swarm him with tons and tons of AC shots.
Right, so my second turn was I proceeded to stand still, and I tried again, and it turns out my badass strategy actually worked this time. One shot went wide, the other shot melted through his front torso armor, melted into the middle of the battle mech, and melted his engine.
Literally
three crits, bam, bam, bam.
And they were all fusion engine hits, so that thing just went down like a sack of potatoes. So we have one urban mech that is down. 20 more to go.
Scratch.
Yeah. We have here a bunch of they finally got into range, so we had AC mostly AC 10s, there's just 2 AC 20s. Both of those missed. Those have been really great to hit with. And even a rotary autocannon 5 opened up on the King Puma. No real avail there, but still we did our best to open fire. Keep in mind, one thing about this, it does not benefit the King Puma any ounce to step forward. And he gets all the nice stability from being a non-moving platform to shoot from, as far as things are concerned. So honestly speaking, yeah, it looks kind of boring with the King Puma sitting back there and just shooting at UrbanMechs, but got news for you. That's the best tactical option to take right now. Plus, the King Puma is not being ineffectual. Go ahead.
Well, on my turn, I'm actually trying to be even more badass. I have decided that I am going to do a tactic that I do where I use the split fire technique to fire a particle cannon and my improved heavy medium laser to center torso on one target, and center torso on the other. And I'm figuring, as long as I get close enough, I should actually be able to melt some UrbanMechs. And I'm pretty effective. Those two are on their way out. I didn't do. One of them has their engine on the way out. Totally.
One hit left.
Yeah, one hit left, and the other one actually managed to narrowly avoid engine damage.
As weird as that sounds, since being hit with the heavy weapons, it pretty much would carve through most UrbanMechs with 1 or 2 good solid hits.
I'm going to make short work of them.
Going for the center torso hit with the targeting computer is a really nasty tactic to use against things that don't have as much armor as you have damage to throw at them. This would be murderous against a swarm of locusts. I love my locusts though, so I'm not going to submit them to this kind of cruel torture. Glorious turn 4 as the UrbanMechs close upon their prey. We have an UrbanMech down, but still we got plenty of shots. An AC 20 round connected and did, well, it's hardened armor, so it did 10 points of damage, but oh well. I also realized I have a hidden asset in one of my UrbanMechs. He's going to be changing course here really quickly. The Rack 5s formed a fusillade and fired full barrage, but congratulations, none of us hit the target because of, well, poor dice rolling. If I had just rolled at least one of them halfway decent, I've got something. I realize I have a few UrbanMechs swanning about the blue right now, so I'm probably going to get them to behave and bring them back onto the focus of the fight.
All right, so my King Puma connected with the head of one of the BattleMechs that was already smoking and is totally hosed, and the other BattleMech that I believe I hit him in the arm and completely demolished the arm that didn't have the big gun that I wanted to get rid of.
Yeah, seems to be walking forward armed with a small laser. It's going to be very, very effective against a King Puma.
Well, like I said, he does not. I did not kill the big weapon. I killed the teeny tiny one.
No, you said right arm, right?
No, it's the right arm. I hit the left arm.
No, I was a right arm hit.
Oh shit! No, then he's told.
Yeah,
he lost it.
Yeah, he lost his AC 20.
So yeah, in that case, torso twist because I forgot. And I believe you untorso twist after the shooting phase, correct?
Technically, yeah.
Well then, in fact, I will.
Okay. Might be a good idea to just spin his ass so he's actually facing for it, and then kind of brace yourself for impact, I guess. Next movement, but yeah. So yeah, this is this has been quite an interesting turn because it takes a while to start rolling all these assault rolls against the. Against it.
I am actually taking tactical movement because I'm realizing that is a Toho level of bullet hell that's coming my way.
turn 5 was interesting because much of my plans went awry. Of course, we have pretty much a headlong rush here where plans aren't quite part of the picture, but it does have some kind of logic behind it. Lo and behold, he went into heavy woods, which I didn't expect a heavy mech to do, but you know, that's what happens when you do interesting heavy mech stuff. As a result, he's able to draw a line of sight on my Urbanmech that actually had some tag on board for the Arrow 4 boy down here. And he didn't kill the mech, but blowing off a leg does really bad things to mechs, especially UrbanMechs, since they are bereft of arms. So
I might just start shooting legs on my...
You know what? That would be a poor, horrible day for UrbanMech kind, where they have so many injured fallen amongst them that they've lost their legs. But yeah, the fact that he's in the heavy woods now means that a lot of my attempts to peck away at him with long-range shots in multitude have gone to hell, because we've beaten that 12 score required to hit in a lot of things. The RAC-5s could try to aim for a 12, and then you get 3 attempts to do so. But, you know, we might as well get closer and try to pound him with better dice rolls. I mean, I'd rather try to hit a 10 3 times in a row than hit a 12. So.
Also, I forgot to mention, I haven't been taking into account my targeting computer.
Oh, okay.
I'll just remember to do that, but just to know, the light woods are not nearly as bad for me to shoot through as they are for you to shoot into.
Targeting computers. I like those myself.
My idea essentially is that this is a typical strategy for me when I play King Puma, is to lure them into an area and then for me to go into a hot zone where it's easy for me to hit them, but it's hard for them to come get me. And so that's kind of where I've put myself. We'll see if it works.
This is a funny thing because he moved 1 hex into heavy woods by running with superchargers.
That's what it required.
Yeah, that's what it required. So yeah, no torso twist was required either, because he shot the 1 mech that was trying to outflank him in that direction either. So yeah, it was an ugly turn. Turn 6 had some fun. He's still hiding in here, so none of our shots are really hitting. I'm not rolling spectacular either. So closing in, he's really close, but he didn't really roll anything. A lot of these mechs have had their weapons disabled by the hits. They're not being destroyed, but their weapons are gone. Like he lost his left small laser, doesn't really matter that much, but his left torso is just gone, just sparking in that direction. Identical damage to this guy too. My guy's just pretty much trying to close in, because at this point we don't have the option to sit back and try to even pretend we have range on him. The heavy woods just make it implausible. However, the good news is UrbanMechs do pretty good in heavy woods once they get there. So here I'm going to book a ticket for that location of the planet and pray that we get there in time.
I decided to stay right there, and I am in fact torso twisted, so I am actually facing this direction, so that I can fire in either direction and only have a couple of light woods between me and the enemy, and that actually hurts them a lot more than it hurts me, because I'm standing in heavy woods. So we're gonna see what happens when he decides to start swarming me, because this is where the fun starts.
So what systems do you have operational?
That I would say that not the radical heatsink system, which failed to activate and broke. So we're gonna start stepping up the heat scale.
I'm also assuming that it's the end of turn 6. Your blue shield went away too, didn't it?
Blue shield is no longer active. However, the particle cannon dude is on the ground, so I'm not as worried about him.
Turn 7 was pretty wild as we're closing in on the King Puma. Casualties have been mounting. And we've been trying to hit, but my god, it's like I can't roll higher than a 7 or something. And all of those damn trees keep getting in the way. Fun thing is, actually a plasma rifle is really close by. We have rules for lighting trees on fire. I may have to start using that. But yeah, speaking of, yeah, we have some wandering elements here. We have this guy who's been made relatively ineffectual, but then again, hopefully the swarm of incoming rack 5s are going to do the job for me. But yeah, it's It's piling up right now. We're closing in. It's going to be a cluster around him with very shortly.
Yeah, actually, if you keep hammering on my center torso like you have, you might actually do a good number on me. So probably the thing that's hurting me the most right now is the fact that my radical heat sink system is down, and I made the poor decision of firing all of my big weapons, and I'm sitting at 14 overheat, and I had to roll to avoid a shutdown. Thankfully, I did not shut down.
You've been doing really well with those, with the critical effects on your shooting as well.
Well, that's what happens when you're an ace pilot and you're surrounded by targets.
Yeah. Boom! Headshot.
Yeah. Boom! Headshot. That's this guy.
There's been 2 guys have died to head critical so far. That's just what happens when you roll with insane rules. The glory of turn 8 is more swarming. I got a chance to shoot him in the back with a light laser and missed.
You should have hit.
I should have hit just to make it it'll have that irony, that beautiful comeuppance of shooting him in the back with a light laser. Only if it was a crit. He fired at some of my plasma weapon carrying Urbies, and they actually tanked it pretty well.
That is, in fact, they're my biggest concern, because you're forcing me to overheat, so I got to make that not happen.
Yeah, this is it's going to be fun when the rotary autocannons get within short range.
I would love it if they didn't.
I would have to do so I could actually try to win. But anyway, we're getting into the close end of it here. I'll be honest, there's a lot of damaged mechs out there. We do have 5 out of the 21 UrbanMechs down. One of them is essentially ineffectual, so we're not going to see much gains out of Mr. I have a rocket here, because our tag equipment went down.
Also, I'm not sure how much you would want to fire I'm not sure how much you would want to fire a Aero 4 system into the middle of all that. No.
Yeah, not right now. What a turn. The King Puma has decided to be a little bit brave. My UrbanMechs decided to be brave in counter. We did peck the hell out of this guy. We had several shots landed because they're all at close range. None of the plasma rounds landed, so he didn't have his heat increase. But we discovered that a kick from a King Puma has the ability to utterly punt an UrbanMech. As you can see, there is one prone UrbanMech that has lost its leg directly to a mere kick. It's now a disabled UrbanMech.
Yes, it is. And so my strategy now is to charge forward like a proper Chad. Now that I've got my heat situation under control, at least I like to think that I have my heat situation under control. Hopefully I'll eventually deal with those plasma guys behind me, but we'll see how that goes.
Oh man, this is I mean, we can try to surround him, but like he said, the heat situation is under control. We've landed some damage, but it's not enough to make anything notable. Like I see chunks in his torso armor, his armor on his arm, his leg armor. I don't see any kind of major threatened point. I mean, yeah, there's damage that we can take out in the center torso, but there's 20 points we can go through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's a long, hard road from here. So this is the bottom of turn 10. We have a lot of interesting status effects kicking around here. We've actually removed 2 mechs from the field because they've been effectually ineffectual. We've lost a weapons and legs combined, so these are UrbanMechs. They can't just use their hands to get back up or anything and start kicking with the other leg or something. They can't punch you. We're going to call the game here because it's actually stupid o'clock in the morning. And we are looking at a point where the King Puma, put the damage sheet in the camera view. Pass me that sheet.
Yeah, you go right ahead and just take a look at this. There is a lot of steam. There's a lot of steam left in this engine. There's a
fuck ton of it. Look at this thing. It's got. If you had this much damage in a normal BattleTech match, you'd be looking to fight your way into a victory potentially. And this guy is in a very target-rich environment. I mean, look at this guy. The UrbanMechs are all for wear. I mean, there's a few UrbanMechs that are unscathed for the most part. They've all gotten damage here and there, and a lot of them are missing weapons. Like this guy here only has his light laser. There's a reason he's attacking from behind. So yeah, the Urbiepocalypse has not concluded, but then again, we've gotten a taste of Urbiepocalypse. You can see that what can I say? They're tenacious little machines, and I like the fact you can bring so many in the game. This, of course, is more than you would take normally. This is, like we said, this is just an insane amount based on the amount that, you know, I put them together and they had that weird catalyzing thing they did.
Let's say 2 stupidly rich people in BattleTech decided to buy 2 separate armies and hire 2 separate mercenary companies to do stupid things. That's exactly what happened.
I like the sound of that. But yeah, so this is our Urbiepocalypse, because BattleTech Tabletop works like this. I'm going to see what I can do to make this, you know, so we can come up with in the future. This is also, by the way, my first battle report for the channel, technically. And my battle reports may be a little bit interesting because, you know, top-down views do funny things.